My name is Ty Sanow. I am a senior slash fifth year student in the concrete industry management program. I'm from Brandon, South Dakota. I went up to Lake Area Tech out of high school, not thinking I really wanted to go to college, and now here I am in my fifth year. And I'm the vice president of the ACI club here that Emma started. This is kind of just an overview of my presentation. I was in the quality control lab at Knife River. I did a lot of on-site testing, trial mix designs, ASR testing, compressive strength testing, shrinkage, and then a lot to deal with stone mont. So on-site testing, I was mainly involved in all of the paving projects that Knife River was doing. I also got to go out to a few residential jobs, do sidewalks, and then a few commercial jobs like shop floors. A couple mix designs we worked on over the summer. We were testing out a new rock. We used a 3/8 inch chips and concrete sand with a 0.33 water cement ratio. 1 to 1.5 inch slump is what we were shooting for, with a 5% to 7.5% air. This took us 12 tries. The bottom left picture, that was our first trial run with the mix. It was basically gravel. And then we hit the slump after 12 tries. The next mix design that we worked on was a 5,000 PSI mix. This was mainly for reinforced foundations, walls, and footings. We used a 1 inch by number 4 coarse aggregate and then concrete sand. And I had a 0.40 water cement ratio, and we targeted a 2 inch to 4 inch slump with a 4.5% to 7.5% air. I also did some lab testing, like I mentioned earlier. We did a lot with ASR, testing new sites that we would maybe get pits at and making sure that there's no ASR. We did shrinkage testing with the same idea, making beams and then measuring later. And then we did compressive strength testing with the cylinders that we created out in the field. Along with being in the QC part, I got to join the aggregate side of our lab for a couple days. We did gradations, washing of the samples, burning moisture off, and then weighing those samples. The bottom one, we were at the top of a sand pit collecting the freshest sand out of the quarry. That was a fun climb. Then Stonemont, that was our computer program that we entered all of our tests in, so all the data we'd get from shrinkage and ASR testing, we'd put in there so that we had it all. And we also did this with our compressive strength data, just to keep everything in line. Another thing with Stonemont, we acquired 2 new plants in Parkson and Freeman, and all of our mix designs are on here, so this is where we pushed out the mix designs to make sure everybody had the same mix codes. A few of the projects to highlight. My favorite project was Veterans Parkway. We paved from Western Avenue to Cliff Avenue. That was my favorite one just because the paving crew out there we got to know pretty well. And my dad is a project manager of this project, so seeing something on a computer and actually seeing it out in the field was pretty cool. I'm an avid golfer, so my coolest project I was on was also the Mapleton Golf Course down by Yogi Bear. Putting in the pervious concrete and get to know the team out there that was traveling around, talking to them about all the golf courses they got to spend time on, like Pebble Beach and Augusta and things like that. My most interesting project was the Sanford Orthopedic Building. We were putting all the floors in. The mix was just kind of crazy, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a drag line. Classroom to the field. I got my ACI testing certification through SDSU. Thank you, patrons. Mix design knowledge. Took a couple classes that Tim taught us what all the ingredients are and the different things that you can do with concrete to make it applicable for your project. project knowledge, seeing pumps and conveyors and ready mix trucks on a screen is a little different than it is when you're out in the field and actually maybe having to fix a truck if it shows up to a project with low air or low or high slump. And then all the opportunities that we get as students through this program is unlike any other program. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life, and I'm glad I found this. So, yeah. I want to say thank you to the patrons, thank you to Tim, and thank you to SDSU for getting us all involved in all the trips that we get to go on and different things like that.